started?
Yeah, could you actually just send it to the AF Kistemaker Gmail? Can you do that one?
Yeah. Just a second. Of course, it doesn't pop up. Just give me a second. I'll find it.
I apologize for this.
Can't be helped.
Hopefully our next meeting will be in person.
Okay, so here we go. Okay, it's sent. It's sent, Pete.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Melissa's ready, so I'm just going to press record here.
All right, are we ready?
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we're ready. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Meeting called to order at 6:03 p.m.
Okay, so be it resolved that we do call this regular meeting of council to order on Wednesday, April 13th, 2022 at 6:03 p.m.
Moved by
You put me down.
and Council Peter seconded. All in favor?
Yes.
Carried.
Okay.
Item 1.2.
So be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby agree to appoint Councillor Drago Stefanik as Deputy Mayor for the duration of the the current council term. And if I could just speak to that for a minute, I suggested this to Mayor Fort last week, just because she is going to be absent for a longer period of time than normal. And if something comes up, you know, we'd like to have it formalized that somebody else can step into her place. So I initiated that just to make sure we're all covered.
Okay.
Comments from council members? Being none, moved by Councilor Belinda Kistemaker,
Yep.
seconded by Councilor Peter Kistemaker. All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. Thank you. Indigenous and land acknowledgement. Gail, go ahead, please.
The Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne would like to begin by respectfully acknowledging that the land on which we gather here today is the Treaty 9, 1905 to 1906 territory, the traditional lands of Indigenous peoples. As we work towards reconciliation, may we all live with respect on this land and live in peace and friendship with all its diverse peoples.
Thank you, Gail. Item number 3, review and note any changes to agenda. Any changes to the agenda?
No.
Being none, 4.1, Gail.
Be it resolved that council does hereby approve the agenda as presented.
Moved by Councilor Belinda Kistemaker,
Yeah, put me down.
seconded by Councilor Peter Kistemaker. All in favor?
All right.
Carried. Thank you. Item number 5, disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof, declaration of conflict of interest. I see none submitted. However, you may declare throughout the meeting. Item number 6, adoption of minutes. Go ahead, Gail.
Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on Wednesday, March 9th, 2022 as distributed.
Moved by to accept. Council Belinda Kistemaker,
Yes.
seconded by Council Peter Kistemaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. Item 6.2. Gail.
Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on Wednesday, March 23rd, 2022 as distributed.
Any comments? Being none. Moved by Councilor Belinda Kistemaker, seconded by
Aye.
Councilor Peter Kistemaker. All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. Business arising from the minutes. Being none, we shall proceed. Item number 8, deputation presentations, excuse me, tender awards and open discussion. Excuse me, 8.1, Gail.
So I'm not sure if Deborah or Craig or Nicole wanted to speak to this first, Mayor.
So today, Craig will be speaking on behalf and would be reading the proclamation for us.
Great. Welcome
Oops, sorry.
to our virtual meeting.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead, please.
All right, so I'll get going with the proclamation. If all good and well, then. Right.
Go ahead, please.
Get up here. Good afternoon, Mayor Fort, councilors, and fellow community members. We are proud to stand before you as the proclamation is read announcing Community Living Awareness Months. I, Deborah, Chadwick, and Craig Holmes, we are here at the behalf of Community Living Algoma. We are also members of the Council of Community Living Algoma. We are a group of individuals who speak out for change, advocating for others and themselves within CLA and the community of Algoma. Community Living Algoma is a non-profit organization committed to the full inclusion and citizenship of people with intellectual disabilities. Now in its 68th year of operation, provides and supports over 730 children and adults in the district of Algoma. Community Living Awareness Month is also being recognized by Blind River, Elliott Lake, Wawa, and Sault Ste. Marie. We are honored to share this recognition with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it for being here. Gail, can you read the resolution, please? Be resolved.
Certainly. Okay. Thank you, CJ. Whereas Community Living Algoma has provided supports and services to people with intellectual disabilities and their families in the Township of Hornepayne and surrounding districts since 1954 and provides services to 335 adults and 397 children across the district of Algoma. And whereas Community Living Algoma's goal is that people with intellectual disabilities have every opportunity to participate fully in our community with dignity, independence, and acceptance. I'm just going to read this. And whereas Community Living Algoma works with Hornepayne volunteers and other stakeholder groups and organizations to promote citizenship for people with intellectual disabilities so they have the rights and responsibilities and the opportunities that come with belonging, participating, and contributing as valued members of society. And whereas Community Living Algoma Awareness Month is a province-wide initiative created to celebrate the values of community living, which are inclusion, equality, and respect, Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby proclaim the month of May 2022 as Community Living Algoma Awareness Month in the community of Hornepayne.
Thank you very much, Gail. Moved by, please. Council Belinda Kissemaker, seconded by
Me.
Council Peter Kissemaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you very much again for attending. It was nice seeing you. Hopefully next year we'll be in person.
Thank you so
Perfect.
much.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. Item 8.2, Solid Waste Management Strategy Report. John Smith, Director, Solid Waste Central Ontario Infrastructure, to address questions concerned from council. Please go ahead.
Sorry, could I just say, I just invited John here to address any questions council might have. He did present at the last meeting, but now that the final report's here, I thought who better to answer any questions or concerns rather than making it a third party activity. If you know, you might as well ask the person who wrote the report.
Go ahead, council, please, with any questions, please.
I have none.
Okay, thank you.
I'm fine.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, members of council. I was looking at item number 3.31, the expansion of the existing landfill. I mean, I think that would be prudent, and you're saying in your report that would give us approximately 3 years. Is that correct from the report?
The currently the expansion of the site will give you about 25 years of capacity, disposal capacity.
Okay. So,
And that's at the current rate of disposal.
okay,
And if you were to implement the waste diversion programs that were outlined in the report, you could almost double the life of the landfill site. So you would increase that from 25 years to could be as much as 50 years.
okay, thank you. Obviously, if the government puts this in effect and it'll be cost effective for a municipality, will certainly be looked at. Because over the years, I looked at other small municipalities that they had Blue Blocks program, same roughly size as us in Northern Ontario, and they actually discontinued because the cost was too great for the taxpayer. But if the government province of Ontario goes on board, I think that certainly would be a way to go. The other question I had was interesting with the, I like the composting, where you actually place rows of stuff, most efficient as opposed to anything else, cost effective. I like that. And the interesting part I noticed on the clear bags, I agree to a certain extent, but who would monitor that? What's in the clear bags that the household person places in them? What's the strategy? How to monitor that?
Well, what basically happens in other municipalities is it's really up to the collection crew to monitor that when they're collecting the material at the curb. And typically how these programs operate is when the collection crew come along, and if they see that there's quite a bit of material in the bag that could be diverted through the various programs, they don't necessarily leave the bag behind. They will take the bag, they'll note the address, and then the municipality typically follows up with the resident. So it's usually only if the resident continues to fail to follow the program rules that then they may leave their garbage behind, or there may be some some other implication to it.
Okay, so it's a soft approach as opposed to being nasty, if I could say. So therefore, the opportunity is there for the person to improve, or persons. Okay. But just like I said, who monitors that? That was my big question, actually, because and you have hard feelings, and my neighbor has stuff, but no, he never got a letter. I mean, all those things in a small community, maybe a larger community, it might work a little better, but just those intrinsic things that are happening behind the scenes, that was my thought on that issue. But a great report. And so basically, what are you suggesting then when we start with the new landfill whole process? Because you're saying 25 years minimum to when should the next process start? In your opinion, how early to look at new landfill disposal site, and from your experience?
Yeah, well, we have actually been tasked to start immediately. So we have completed sort of a preliminary scope of the existing site and whether or not it can be expanded. And we have determined that the existing site can be expanded. So based on, approval of this report, our next step would then be to start with the expansion process of the current site.
Okay. Thank you so much for your answers. Gail, please go ahead.
Sorry, my mouse wasn't working. So, John, I just wanted to clarify that, or suggest maybe that, I know that we obviously want you to go ahead with the ECA application, to get things going, to see if it's even going to be approved. But what I think I'm suggesting that council do is take a couple of weeks to have a really close look at the report, and then come back. They can accept the report tonight, but then to provide direction at the next meeting for specific recommendations or options. Maybe they might want 5 out of 7 or 3 out of 5 or something like that. And that way we can sort of break it down into chunks. So that's kind of what I was going to suggest. And the other thing was, I just wanted to ask if you could clarify, if you do, I know it is in there, but just to clarify, if you can, having maintaining a contractor for collection versus staffing for collection, because I know that discussion has come up several times over the 20 years that I've been here. I know you do say that in the report that it's, you're recommending to keep it, but I just wonder if you could elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, so that is based on current practices or best practices at other municipalities. So typically municipalities do contract out their collection services, and very few municipalities actually have their own staff providing that service. And one of the reasons is really just cost efficiency and staff resources. So a contractor can be, more nimble with getting more staff, and further they'll typically have a collection contractor will typically have other sort of business opportunities where they have other trucks, so they'll have maintenance facilities, and it's just that overall it's just more efficient, more cost effective to have a contractor provide those services.
Okay, thank you.
Any comments from council members, please?
None from me, Drago.
Thank you. Go ahead, please, Belinda.
I know myself, I'd like to have the time, like Gail suggested, to go over everything and talk amongst ourselves on how to look at this and be on the same page, because I don't feel we are. So yeah, I would like to be able to review it more, and I'm hoping that we're able to do that.
Thank you, Councilor Belinda. Gail, if I could have a hard copy again, that's my forte, and then I will certainly reread it. It's much more nicer for me. Maybe my old fashioned or something, I don't know, but that's what I enjoy because it's a good report. So may we have the resolution read, Gail, please?
Yep. So be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby acknowledge receipt of the Solid Waste Management Options Plan Report dated April 2022 as prepared by John Smith, EXP, Director, Solid Waste Central Ontario Infrastructure. Be it further resolved that Council will have further discussion at their next regular meeting to determine and identify which options they wish to proceed with, and that a resolution will be drawn up at that time to formalize the decisions.
Thank you. May I have a mover, please? Councilor Belinda Kistemaker, seconded by, please.
Me, please.
Councilor Peter Kistemaker, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. Thank you very much, John, for answering some of the questions, and we'll do a deep dive on the report for sure, no question. And as Councilor Belinda said, we'll get on the same page and really hash it out and look at it very thoroughly. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Have a good evening. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
Good night.
Manager report item number 9.1, a resolution. Gail, please.
Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby acknowledge receipt of the manager reports provided at the regular meeting of council held on Wednesday, April 13th, 2022.
Moved by Councilor Belinda Kistemaker, seconded by
Peter.
Councilor Peter Kistemaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. Go ahead, Gail, please.
So I don't think I have too much to add, just the RFP is out for the arena, which the engineering for the arena, so that's exciting. We're going on our second construction meeting for the airport next week. Things are moving along. We've got some interviews scheduled for next week for the CAO position, and hoping to have some candidates to come to council on the 27th, depending on how that works out. And that's all I can really think of, unless there's any questions.
Any questions for members of council?
I'm good.
Okay. If I may, Gail, can you just expand that you and I discussed this yesterday from the mayor's group, the access program? I think that's worthwhile for members of council to hear. Number one, there's no cost to it, so I like that, but it's a real positive thing. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So what this is Access is a nonprofit organization that's fully funded by the government to help facilitate immigrants who have already gone through the immigration process and are basically waiting to be placed into jobs and in communities. So they don't do any recruiting. They just set up meetings, basically networking events for those who are looking for jobs. So when they have these networking events, they'll have I guess there's two attraction events and networking events. So the attraction event would be, and what we talked about at the mayor's group was having the mayor's group do an attraction event and have 2 or 3 speakers at it. So for the first half of the attraction event, communities would speak on behalf of their communities, or an industry would speak, or whatever is best for the region. And then the second half of that hour, the people who are wanting to immigrate have a chance to ask questions of the communities and or industry. And then when there seems to be a match, there can be a networking event, and people such as, education representatives, hospital representatives, industry reps, social services reps can go to this other event where they also do spiels and present to the immigrants. And then there are breakout rooms. And if I wanted to learn, if I wanted to move here and I wanted to learn more about what the recreation was to offer, or what the medical services were like, I would go into a breakout room with those particular services and find out more. So, excuse me. So I think it's really, sounds like it's really effective so far. It's been really effective. And I think what's good is you're already attracting trained professionals to your community or to your region. And there's no cost to it. They do all the setup. You just have to kind of prepare your presentation and show up. Mayor Fort has already said she's interested. She said this at the mayor's meeting that she's interested on presenting on behalf of Hornepayne if she's available. Mayor Mazzoni wants to do it on behalf of White River, and I'm not sure what the others are. I think everyone's in favor of a regional thing, but those two for sure did speak up. They also said that they would help facilitate moving the families here, although that's not their focus. But certainly, like for example, for Hornepayne, they may be recruiting, you know, I don't know, millwrights or electricians or whatever. But I mean, we also have a need for teachers. We have a need for nurses and PSWs and RPNs. So, you know, they could help find jobs for family members as well. So anyways, it sounds like a really good process and system and well organized. So I will bring a resolution. We don't really need a resolution right now, but I think I'll bring one to the next meeting just to show our support and so that it's documented in the records that we're looking into doing this. And then they're going to provide more information and whatnot in the future. I think they're looking at maybe end of June before anything gets done because they've got a schedule already made up. But certainly I think we should look into it and support it, being that it's free and it's effective.
Thank you, Gail. Comments from members of council?
I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Belinda? Okay, thank you. I think also, because Gail mentioned, I think it's no cost and I think it's really positive. And we are lacking teachers. I know that for a fact, and that's the area I work in. And with the new motel going on stream, I'm certain that they require a lot of from general laborers to cleaners. And I don't know if we have enough workforce in our community. So I think that's a real positive from my view. And I think if Mayor Ford wants to present, that's just wonderful to get some people in our community. Thank you. The next is Client Service Manager / Treasurer's Report. Melissa, any highlights would you like to?
No,
outline?
I've got nothing further to add unless I'll take questions if there's some.
Thank you very much.
I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, please.
I'm good.
Just one simple question for you. You said we received 2 stipends for Service Ontario. That's above and beyond my assumption of the regular funds we receive from there, correct?
We normally receive a stipend every year. I don't believe we've ever received 2 before, and we
Okay.
usually just get the little $10, $15, whatever for the transactions. But
Right.
correct me if I'm wrong, Gail. I believe that we used to get 7,500 per year for a stipend.
It was 6,000, and then when we had that sort of hullabaloo with them, with us wanting to reduce our hours. They said they were going to reduce the stipend, but I actually don't know if they've done that because we're still receiving payments. So
And I've noticed that another one come in for March, so maybe
Yep.
they're just dividing it up per month rather than once per year. I'm not sure what's going on there.
But the money's still flowing, so that's a real good sign. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
I see dollar signs in your eyes. That's good. That's good. Thank you. I love it. Apologies. My apologies. Final report is Public Works Manager. Second last report, sorry, and he's not here. I understand. If I'm sure Gail could help us out with any questions. Go ahead, members of council, please.
I have one question.
Please go ahead.
I was just, Gail, maybe you can help me. I heard a rumor, then I'm reading here about the relocation of the ball field. That's still, we're still going ahead with that starting this year, correct?
yeah, we're waiting for the snow to clear, and Vilna's going to come in and do an assessment of the site to see, to give us a cost and to see if they can fit it into their schedule this summer. So yeah, everything,
No.
nothing's changed.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Kistenmaker.
And just a reminder that Public Works Manager and the Deputy Clerk are away at the OGRA conference.
Right. Thank you. All right. I have none, no questions. We have the final EDO report. Any questions for Stacy, please?
I'm okay.
Thank you. I just like to add just an overall statement that the EDO Stacy is doing tremendous work of just by looking at all the grants applications and not only to fill them up and complete them, but the follow-ups. Great job, very commendable, Stacy.
Thank you.
Any further comments? If not, we'll proceed. Item number 10, correspondence action items. Go ahead, Gail, please.
Sorry about that. Be it resolved that council does hereby acknowledge receipt of the 2021 permit to take water report for the Township of Hornepayne as prepared by the Ontario Clean Water Agency, Aqua.
Any comments from members of council?
I'm good.
Thank you. Okay, I have no comments. Moved by, for the report, please, Councilor Belinda Kistenmaker, seconded by
Peter,
Councilor Peter Kistenmaker. All in favor?
aye.
Carried. Thank you. Item 10.2, please, Gail.
Be it resolved that council does hereby acknowledge receipt of the 2021 performance report for the Hornepayne wastewater treatment plant as prepared by the Ontario Clean Water Agency, Aqua.
Thank you. Any comments from members of council?
I'm good.
Thank you. Okay, all good, thank you. All good, and moved by, please.
I'll
Councilor
move it.
Belinda. Okay, Councilor Belinda Kistemaker, moved by, seconded by Councilor Peter Kistemaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried, thank you. Item 10.3, Gail, please.
Be resolved that council does hereby acknowledge receipt of the 2019 to 2021 triennial monitoring report for the Hornepayne active landfill as prepared by Pension Limited.
Any comments, concerns? If none, moved by, please.
Peter.
Councilor Belinda Kistemaker, and seconded by Councilor Peter Kistemaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried, thank you. Item 10.4, Gail, please.
Be it resolved that council does hereby acknowledge receipt of the 2019 to 2021 triennial monitoring report for the Hornepayne Waste Transfer Site as prepared by Pension Limited.
Any comments from members of council?
I'm
Being
good.
none, thank you. Moved by Councilor Belinda Kistemaker,
Second by Peter.
seconded by Councilor Peter Kistemaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried, thank you. Item 10.5, go ahead, Gail, please.
Whereas Councillor Peter Kistemaker was appointed to the Hornepayne Community Hospital Board as council representative, but is finding it difficult to attend meetings due to recent scheduling conflicts. And whereas council and the Hornepayne Community Hospital CEO feel it is imperative that the municipality have representation on the board, therefore be it resolved that the council of the corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby appoint Councillor blank as an alternate to sit on the Hornepayne Community Hospital Board for the duration of the current council term.
Thank you, Gail, and thank you for bringing that up. Thank you, Peter, for being on the board. Any interest from Councilor Belinda Kistemaker?
I'd rather not at this time, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And I personally can't. I am swamped with the other committees and the boards I'm on. So can we, is it feasible to defer it till we have Councilor Peroff again for next meeting, please? So defer. Thank you very much.
So do you want to take a vote on that to defer it?
Okay, if you wish.
You can check that right off on the, like I can check that right off on the resolution.
Okay. All in favor of deferring it?
Aye.
I think you still need a mover and a seconder.
Oh, sorry. So sorry. I apologize. Moved by Belinda Kistemaker, Councilor, and Councilor Peter Kistemaker, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Deferred. Thank you. Item 10.6, Northwestern Ontario Municipal Association, NOMA, Northern Ontario's Transportation Task Force, NOTTF, request for input. Go ahead, please, Gail.
Whereas council has consistently and frequently asserted that the North is unique and that decisions affecting Northern Ontario should be looked at through a Northern lens. And whereas council has communicated this belief to several government representatives through various channels, including conference delegations. And whereas there have been several positive developments in the transportation sector, as illustrated by the Ministry of Transportation's establishment of the draft transportation plan for Northern Ontario in 2021, and most recently, the establishment of the Northern Ontario Transportation Task Force, NOTTF, which will facilitate discussions to be held in the North by people of the North. And whereas health and safety, equitable and reliable access to services, improved travel options, support for tourism, and economic growth and inclusion in green energy transportation infrastructure solutions all depend on a robust and inclusive transportation strategy. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby direct staff to prepare and submit a formal written submission on their behalf to both the Northern Ontario Transportation Task Force and to the Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities, FNOM, outlining the importance of looking at northern transportation through a northern lens and identifying issues of concern as outlined above. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution and the formal submission will be forwarded to the Honorable Caroline Mulrooney, Minister of Transportation, for her consideration, and to Michael Mantha, MPP, Algoma, Manitoulin, for his information and support. Oops.
Thank you very much, Gail. Comments from members of council, please.
I have none.
Thank you. Just a comment, I think this is worthwhile resolution and hopefully it will come to fruition once and for all, and so it's nice to see. Moved by, please,
Peter,
Councilor Peter Kistemaker, seconded by Councilor Belinda Kistemaker. All in favor?
aye.
Carried. Thank you very much. We get into the correspondence, 11.1. Any particular correspondence that members of council wish to bring up or discuss or elaborate on, please?
I'm okay.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. I only have one comment on 11.3 Canadian National Railway. I was looking at the March 7th letter from Mayor Fort. I think it's a well-written letter, and I'm hoping there's some traction coming from the other end. I think it's well-written and explained, and I thank Mayor Fort for that. Please go ahead, Gail.
I just have a couple of things I wanted to highlight just to
Sorry.
ensure that everybody's aware that we did meet our compliance for emergency management for 2021, which is item 11.2. And then 11.10, the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing consultations.
Yes.
I'm just going to mute Councillor Kistemaker for a minute because I can hear some noise in the background there. Sorry, they're looking for a consultation on several different things, and if council would like a submission put in, I would ask that you can forward me some of your thoughts, because there's so many documents here to look at that we simply just don't have the time to do something right from scratch. It's due April the 29th. They only gave 30 days for consultation. So one of the issues is proposed Planning Act changes. Another one is housing needs in rural and northern Ontario, sorry, not northern Ontario, but northern municipalities, and opportunities to increase missing middle housing, including supports for multi-generational housing. So I will say that they just sent, just before the meeting, there's an information session coming up for staff next week, which I will attend to get some further information on. And we do have some issues already we can draw from our housing needs and demand study. And I will forward this also to the Hornepayne Housing Corporation, the project manager, and the board members, just for their input as well, if they'd like to put something together. But I think that in order to get a good submission, would help if we had some input from council and get different perspectives and a sort of a more comprehensive submission rather than juggling. We're pretty busy here with election stuff. Nomination days coming up on May the 2nd, and there's lots to be done just in that department. So anyways, I just asked that if you have anything that you'd like highlighted, please let me know. And I think that was all I wanted to bring up. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, Gail. When is the latest you want to have that on your desk and your computer from members of council?
Probably the 22nd would work.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any further comments or from members of council on the correspondence? If not, we'll proceed. Committee
so I'll take
reports?
Resolution then?
Yes, of course, sorry. Moved by, please?
I didn't read the
Oh,
one for the
apologize.
information only yet.
Yes,
Okay.
so I'm just finishing. Go ahead, please.
Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby acknowledge receipt of the correspondence information only package attached to the agenda of the regular meeting of council held on Wednesday, April 13th, 2022.
Any comments from members of council? Okay, thank you. Okay, being none, I'd just like to commend Darnell. Sorry, go ahead, please.
I'm sorry, I just, I had muted Councillor Kistemaker because there was something rustling. So
Okay.
I don't know if he has anything to say. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm good.
okay. I just like to make a comment regarding the public library, and I'm on the board, so I'm slightly biased, of course, my foreclosure. I think Darnell and the staff did an excellent job on the report, and it gives everybody a glimpse what's going on in the minutes. They did quite well in the trying times of last 2 years, and I think they should be commended for their great efforts as a team at the library. So go ahead, please.
Sorry, I don't think we got a mover and a seconder for the previous resolution.
Okay, that's what, yes, okay. Moved by, please.
Peter.
Councilor Peter Kistemaker, seconded by Councilor Belinda Kistemaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you very much.
And then I'll read the one for the committee reports, and then we'll
Yes, please.
for the annual report. Be it resolved that council does hereby acknowledge receipt of the 2021 annual report for the Hornepayne Public Library as prepared by Darnell Hill, CEO, Hornepayne Public Library.
Any comments?
I'm good.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Moved by, please. Councilor Belinda Kistemaker, seconded by
Peter.
second Peter Kistemaker. Councilor, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you very much. We're into item number 13, new and other business.
I just need to do the minutes for the library board.
In the minutes, I'm so sorry, I apologize.
That's okay. Be it resolved that
But
Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby acknowledge receipt of the minutes from the Hornepayne Public Library Board meeting held on Wednesday, February 16th, 2022.
moved by Councilor Belinda Kistemaker, seconded by
Peter.
Councilor Peter Kistemaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried, and thank you. Okay, now we're going to item number 13, new and other business. Item 13.1. Please go ahead, Gail.
Something's going funny. Okay, so I had put on Ministry of Municipal Affairs letter basically saying that the workplace deployment ability to deploy your staff into other areas during the emergency, that's being removed, as is the patio order, which really didn't really affect us any. Other than that, we have been continuing with our CCG meetings. We did cancel the one for this week. There's just not enough people available for the meeting this week, but also, I mean, we all know cases are rising. Nothing's really changing. There's nothing different for us to do except keep sharing the information that the public health unit or the Porcupine Health Unit is providing. And, you know, encourage people to keep wearing masks and distance as much as they can. I was a little bit astounded the other day. I was watching Dr. Moore, Chief Medical Officer for the province. I thought maybe he might, take some action, but proceeded to say that, cases are rising, hospitalizations are rising. We're not instituting a mask mandate, but wear a mask. So that really didn't make much sense to me. So all we can do is, it's a personal choice, and all we can do is try to protect each other. Firmly into the sixth wave. Rapid transmission is evident. There's so many people I know now have it or have had it. Thankfully, the cases don't seem to be as severe as they were with the Delta, and there do seem to be fewer deaths. But there is concern because there is a strain with hospital staffing all over the place. So I think that's what we need to think about, as well as whether it's serious illness or not. So saying that, our next CCG meeting now is scheduled for the 28th. And we will be discussing again whether we think it's time to end the municipal emergency. Mayor Fort had intended on doing it at the end of March, but then didn't feel we were quite ready for that, not knowing what was coming ahead. So we'll see what the 28th brings. And I think just a reminder that there's test kits available, self-test kits available at the Fresh Mart, if anyone is looking for any. And certainly the isolation periods have been reduced. I think really they've been reduced so that people can go to work. It doesn't mean that people still aren't spreading the virus. So I think just be responsible, be careful is the message. And if you do have symptoms or you've been around somebody who's been positive, then please get the word out there. Just try and stick to yourself for a bit, keep your distance, and wear a mask around other people if you think you may have been exposed. So I don't have anything other than that. It's kind of been the same old for the last little while, but if you have any questions you'd like me to take back to the health unit, I can certainly do that.
Go ahead, members of council. Any questions, thoughts? I just to echo what the CEO Gail said, I did observe his Chief Medical Officer of Health. Like he spoke on two different levels. It's okay, it's fine, but I really suggest you wear a mask. So which one is it? Don't wear a mask or wear a mask. And I think I read an excellent article in Toronto Star. A writer, her name is Heather Malik. And basically, if you have a chance, Malik last is Mallick, and she basically said that the Chief Medical Officer of Health is shackled by the provincial government. So it was an excellent article. That's all I'm going to make a comment on that, but it's worth reading. It'll certainly open your eyes. And well, thank you very much, Gail. We'll proceed to 13.2 item, adopt 2022 municipal budget. Please, Gail.
Is my mic on? Yes. Okay. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby adopt the attached municipal budget as the final budget amounts for 2022. Be it further resolved that this budget reflects an increase of 2.8% for municipal purposes only for all property tax classes for the 2022 taxation year.
Any comments, further comments from members of council? Well, I think we certainly discussed it enough. Bandied it around, pushed it around, jumped on it, and pushed it out, brought it back in, and great work by our council members. May I have a moved by, please?
Peter,
Council Peter Kistemaker. Seconded by Council Belinda Kistemaker. All in favor?
aye.
Carried. Thank you. Item 13.3, council committee updates. Would you like to start, Peter, please?
No, I have nothing to add at this time. The only thing I can maybe mention is my dealing with the hospital. My new job requires me to work past 4 o'clock every day. I took a job at the local sawmill, and I can't. The meetings at the hospital are usually at about 4 o'clock. They start at 4, and I have not been able to come to any of them, which is I regret, but it's part of my new job. So that's the only thing that's going on that's new with me.
Thank you very much, Councilor Peter Kestemaker, for explanation. That is appreciated. Councilor Belinda Kestemaker, please.
I don't have anything at this time.
Okay, thank you. Our library board meetings are continued. Porcupine Health Unit meetings are progressing, and unfortunately, it's all virtual. Hopefully, we'll get in person. And the final comment from the last meeting, we'll set a meeting for Central Ontario Committee with the next couple months to sit down and hammer out our goals and objectives as council requested. And Council Belinda and I will be there, and we'll make sure choose a couple of dates so that all members of IDATA committee will be available to hammer out some dates, wants, and needs. And as we discussed quite a bit last time, we got to move on this, and in the next couple of months, I'll put some dates out. Thank you. Oops. Okay. All right, Gail, go ahead, please. We're into resolutions. Item 14.
Well, there's nothing specific under that one.
Correct. So we're going to item 15, bylaws, 15.1, please.
Be it resolved that bylaw number 1919, being a bylaw to set water and sewerage rates for the municipality for the year 2022, be hereby read a first and second time and be considered read a third time and finally passed.
Thank you, Gail. Any comments from members of council? If not, moved by, please. Councilor Belinda Kestemaker, seconded by
Peter.
Councilor Peter Kestemaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you very much. Item 15.2, Gail, please.
Be it resolved that bylaw number 1920, being a bylaw, excuse me, to establish the tax ratios for the corporation of the Township of Hornepayne for the year 2022, be hereby read a first and second time and be considered read a third time and finally passed.
Thank you very much, Gail. Comments from members of council? If not, moved by, please. Councilor Belinda
Peter.
Kestemaker, seconded by Councilor Peter Kestemaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you very much. 15.3, please, Gail. Thank you.
Be it resolved that bylaw number 1921, being a bylaw to establish a point in time cutoff for all property classes and to fix the rates of taxation for all property classes for the year 2022, be hereby read a first and second time and be considered read a third time and finally passed.
Thank you very much, Gail. Moved by, please.
Peter.
Council Peter Kestemaker, seconded by Councilor Belinda Kestemaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried, and thank you. Item number 16 to you, Gail, closed session, please.
Be it resolved that the next portion of the meeting at 7 p.m. be closed to the public in order to discuss a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board pursuant to section 239 2C of the Municipal Act 2001.
Thank you very much. Moved by, please.
Peter.
Councilor Peter Kestemaker, seconded by Councilor Belinda Kestemaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried, and thank you. So we'll meet you in the in camera, correct, Gail?
Correct, yes,
And you go back on the same link, correct?
correct.
Thank you so much.
Be it resolved that council does hereby return to open council at 7:22 PM.
Moved by, please,
Peter.
Council Peter Kistemaker, seconded by Councilor Belinda Kistemaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you very much. Business arising from the closed session. During the closed session, members of council discussed offer to purchase the property at 36th Fifth Avenue. And Gail, proceed, please. Thank you.
Be it resolved that the council of the corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby accept the offer to purchase from Ben Cohen, CEO, Right Oak Bay Developments, Inc., for the township-owned land known as 36th Fifth Avenue, roll number 5796-000 001-00105-0000, Wicks deed, part Hornepayne Divisional Yard of CNR, part road allowance RP 1R 11990, parts 4 to 8, RP 1R 12003, part 2, Hornepayne Township, at the purchase price of $7,500 plus HST, and instructs the municipal clerk and the municipal solicitor to complete all necessary work and prepare all documents to complete the transfer as soon as possible. All legal fees and disbursements are the responsibility of the purchaser. Be it further resolved that the following conditions will apply to the sale. The building will be sold as is, where is, with the caveat that all items previously declared surplus by the township, except those integral to the operation of the facility, will be removed by the township prior to closing.
Thank you, Gail. Moved by, please, Councilor Belinda Kistemaker, seconded by, please,
Peter.
seconded by Councilor Peter Kistemaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried, and thank you very much. Item 18.1. Please, Gail.
Be it resolved that bylaw number 1922, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at the regular meeting held on Wednesday, April 13th, 2022, be hereby read a first and second time and be considered read a third time and finally passed.
Thank you. Moved by Councilor Belinda Kistemaker, seconded by
Peter.
Councilor Peter Kistemaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried, and thank you. Item 18.2, adjourn the meeting.
Be it resolved that council does hereby adjourn this regular meeting of council held on Wednesday, April 13th, 2022 at 7:25 PM.
Thank you. Gail, moved by Councilor Belinda Kistemaker, seconded by
Peter.
seconded by Councilor Peter Kistemaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Perfect, thanks. Have a
Thank
great
you,
evening.
staff.